Hi folks, here's the face. I redefined the, I did this really deep just so it would stick out really well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to round off the hat next. Okay, so we're looking at it from this angle, so let's just round it off. And we're going to round off these corners. Okay, we're just going to take them off a little bit, and let's see if I can find a way of doing this here. Alright, why don't we do the top first? That makes more sense. We're just going to round it to the center. Let's make a little mark up here where the hat's going to be. Alright. We're just going to try to round it up to that. Just like so. I always do the head and the face kind of first. I do other parts of the body as well, but I always felt if this part didn't turn out well, then we would go to just to something else. Okay? Let me just turn this around this way. I've got to come up this way because it's going against the grain. Now we're going to go in a little deeper in a minute here, but what we're establishing is where that hat is going to come up from the top part of the hat. So we're going to just cut this up and around. We're going to have to dig into that. I may need a little bit of a gouge to do that. I hope not. I try to do everything with a knife, but every so often you need a gouge to round out things, or a V-tool, or and those tools you should get at a carving show. If you can get to a carving show, your Best Buys are there for any tools and books. And you can find really carving books in the weirdest places sometimes. We have a flea market up our way, and at the mall I work at, and somebody told me earlier there's some carving books. So I got like 7 or 8 books for about $2 a piece, or $2.25 a piece, and I snatched them up, and I figured if I ever have a shop somewhere, I'll have a lot of references and things that people can refer to if they need to, or maybe even give it to the carving club later on as a raffle drawing or something of that nature. Some really good books in there too. Some Enlow books, and some caricatures. A plate flat Scandinavian flat plane carving was in there as well. I was surprised how many different books there were. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that little line there. Okay, now we're going to round off the brim of the hat. Okay, where's our center line here on the hat? Let me take a look here. Right there. Okay? Right there. Alright, there's the center, and we'll do this right here. Alright, so what we're establishing now is where is the center on each side of the hat. Again, that's going to be a reference point. So when we round this hat off, we're going from this point to this point. Okay? This point to this point. Just like so. Alright? And there's a lot more to do in the hat, because I'm having the hat go upward. Okay? So we're going to round it upward, and then I'm going to go down a little bit here, just like on the pumpkin portion. Alright, so there's our hat. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, take a look at it at the top. Does it look right? Yes, it does. To me it does. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're not going to do it up here. Down here we're going to trim this just like so. Okay, just like that. Alright. Let me get my other glasses on. This is the pain getting older. Can't always see exactly what you're doing. Okay, so we're putting the hat up. You'll see in a minute what I'm doing here. This might have to be trimmed down just a tad, but let's go across this. Let's bring this down just a little bit. Alright. Alright. Well, what I might do is bring this down just a tad more. Okay? And we're going to round this up this end a little bit more. See how we have it going upward, but it's way too thick. Way too thick. So we're going to trim it down from the top up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this down just like so. Kind of at the angle that it's at. I'm following it all the way around. I'm looking at my one piece here and it looks way too big. What we're going to do is we're going to dig this out. Okay, we're going to just start trimming this out a little bit more. Get another knife. It's very important to have a good sharp knife, folks. A really sharp knife. We're just going to go down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go down a little ways again. Doesn't look quite right to me, so we're just going to dig this hat out a little further. Again, you're going to go around the outside, and actually it's more on the sides than it is in the front. We're just going to dig this out. Okay. Like I always said, you can always trim more off later on if you need to. Okay? I'm going to trim this hat off a little bit more, and then I'll be back.